Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome on back to the Crossroads, here with another DeckTech, a magic DeckTech, and I am here with the only deck I own that actually has a Nindo. This is my ninjutsu deck, and its Nindo is, I'm gonna pound your face in, and you won't even get the chance. You know, pretty similar to Gara, love or whatever. Love! Alright, so without further ado, I want to get on into this deck because it is super flipping powerful, and you all deserve to know a little bit more about it. So let's get on to it with the creatures. Here with squad number 420. So let's talk about what this deck is trying to do real quick. The major goal is to bounce back my first guy here and try to, or trick the opponents into not blocking me.
I was just wondering, did I happen to mention, have you ever noticed that tree over there?
Why, yes, Pooh. It's a very nice tree.
Because they see these little creatures, and then we go in with the ninjutsu. And I'll talk more about ninjutsu, because I know it can be kind of a complicated effect, so I'll just, I'll do a little quick rundown. But to start things off, let's talk about my 4 copies of Fairy Seer. And what does this do? We have a flying, and whenever this creature enters the battlefield, scry 2. It costs 1 mana. This is going to be a very important card for getting through our deck and finding our resources when we need it. This is very easily redone over and over thanks to ninjutsu, and we'll show you how in just a second. Okay, after Fairy Seer, we're gonna go in with Phantom Knight. Just getting through with the blue strategy cards real quick. And what this does for us is it cannot be blocked. It's a 2/2 and it costs 3 mana, which is, it's nothing too astonishing, but when paired with a few other key piece cards, it starts pulling its weight fairly quickly. God bless editing. And next is the very first card that we have with ninjutsu. And here's where I'm going to start talking about ninjutsu and what we got going on here. This is Moonblade Shinobi. He cost 4 mana, but we're not paying that. We're going to be paying the ninjutsu cost. And ninjutsu reads, return an unblocked attacker you control to your hand. Put this card onto the battlefield, this card being this card, from your hand, tapped and attacking. So, let's say we have our Phantom Shinobi swinging in for the 2. They decide not to take it. Well, since they didn't block, we can pay the ninjutsu cost of this card in our hand and switch these 2 out, and now this is what didn't get blocked instead. They cannot readjust blockers to block this. This is taking the place of this, which was already not blocked. So we're getting in that attack damage. The next thing that we end up getting out of this is whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, create a 1/1 blue illusion creature token with flying, which, great. So all ninjas do something after they haven't been blocked, with the exception of a couple guys. But they often do something really good for the crew. And this one making the tokens to give us something to block with, so that way we don't have to block with our ninjas, and we can hopefully get in with another attack later down the road with them. So that's kind of the gist of ninjutsu, and now we're gonna move forward with the rest of our ninjas. Next up, I have a playset of Miss Syndicate Naga, who costs 3 mana and has a ninjutsu of 3. And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create a token that is a copy of that guy. So it's like this guy, but way flipping cooler because he makes copies of him, and those copies make copies. More blockers, more spam. This deck gets a little crazy, a little out of hand, real quick and real easy. Next, I got a playset. You didn't see him because, you know, he was hiding because he's a ninja sometimes. of Changeling Outcast. He has Changeling, as most Changelings do, which means he is every creature type in addition to his other type. Oh, no, he's just every creature type. I lied to you. And he can't block, and he can't be blocked. So he's going to help set off the ninjutsu and return this to our hand. He's cheap enough with the 1 mana where this is just wonderful. This card right here, absolutely Kinder Bueno. Non-sponsored. Next up and last up for utility ninjas, as I call them, ones that don't have the attacking and doing an effect thing, is our Throat Seeker, a vampire ninja, which is awesome. He costs 3 mana, and unblocked attacking ninjas you control have lifelink. So, pretty nice stellar effect right there. And for 3 attack, not too shabby. 3/2, pretty good. Get in there for a nice little hit, hopefully. Probably just going to sit back and allow your ninjas to have lifelink, rather. But this actually gives you some pretty long-lasting, late game effect. So, you're not just floating there dead in the water with 12 life as you're going up against that green-white deck that has 102 and you're like, what am I supposed to do? At least you're still in the game. Okay. Next up, we have a playset of Ingenuous Infiltrator, which the first time I read this, I thought it was Indigenous Infiltrator, which was really confusing because, it's like breaking into your own house. I didn't get it, but then I read better. So he cost 4 mana, but we're not paying that. And he has ninjutsu, 1 blue of 1 black. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you get to draw a card. So, boom, we're getting some draw in there. We have lifelink in here. And, we can scry through our deck. So, you combo these up, get things right with Fairy Seer, this guy, you look at the top 2, set it up to get that draw in later, swing with this guy, swap it out, it's just a great deck with a lot of good synergy. It honestly feels a whole heck of a lot like a Yu-Gi-Oh deck in Magic with how many things are triggering other things. Just a really good deck. Really, really good deck. That's a nice cheap drop for us. Next up, and last up for the creatures, we have my Fallen Shinobi, who's literally the only ninja in this whole deck that can use Genjutsu. I'm not even flipping kidding you, that's the closest thing I can describe it as. He has ninjutsu of 4, and whenever Fallen Shinobi deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles the top 2 cards of his or her library until end of turn. I may play those cards without paying their mana cost. So I literally get to, screw their heads, over. Not literally. Put a picture of a screw right there instead. Make it less weird. Alright, yeah. And he's a 5/4 at that, who's coming out for 4 mana and does an amazing trick like that. What more could you want? This is wonderful. And with, the other guys, you might get some lifelink in there for 5 extra life, and, just such a smooth deck. Works flawlessly. Alrighty. Let's get on in to our spells now. Got some spells here. Spells for sale, spells and incantations for those with the talents to cast them. I have the talent. Alright, so let's get on into it. To start off, we have a playset of Opt, because I always opt for Opt. What it does, 1 mana, blue, scry 1, draw 1. That is just so gosh darn great. Are there better versions of this deck for more niche style decks? Absolutely. But this is just the best generic version of this card, and I love it in any blue deck. I mean, it pretty much just trades itself. It doesn't give you any real card advantage. But heck it, gets you, I don't know, gets you something. I like it. In Yu-Gi-Oh, this would not be a good card. But in Magic, it's pretty dang decent. Next up, we have my 3 copies of String of Disappearances, which is good and bad, depending on your situation. It costs 1 blue, return target creature to its owner's hand. Then, that creature's controller may pay 2 blue mana, and if they do, they get to copy this spell and choose a new target for it. So, you know, most of the time this is going to be pretty decent. So, you know, you got a good shot with it, as long as you ain't playing with something with blue, or if you can time it right where they just don't have the mana to, like, react. This can be pretty clutch, you know, get something off the field so one of your ninjas who has already swung and is now on the field can actually get in, hopefully, if you get rid of something. Pretty good card. And last up for our spells, I have Mana Leak. And for 2 mana, counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. Really good, really good. Probably don't got 3 if they're playing a spell of some kind, right? Hopefully. Early game, this is great. I like it. So now, last up, I guess, is just getting on into the land. So let's go ahead with that. Got my land here. And, you know, I like to keep it simple when I can, but I didn't feel like we needed anything more than 11 of each swamps and islands. And, that's really it. I didn't feel like we had enough dual color cards to justify putting dual lands in here. Our black creature base is, you know, practically non-existent. And our black spells, well, we don't have any. So, heck, you might even want to play with these numbers. Maybe shorten up the black if you'd like and add more blue. That's totally up to you, but this works out pretty well for me, just having 11 of each. So this deck clocks in at being a 61 card deck. Feel free to play with those numbers. Like I said, maybe you can just take out a swamp. And that might help it out. Shorten up your deck at least. As for power, this is absolutely a just really, really strong deck based on all the things it's doing. It's pretty easy to play, and it's pretty easy to get the hang of once you kind of know what's going on here. You just got to keep track of all the different triggers and different effects going on. But if you can do that, then you're going to practically win. Like I said, this deck's Nindo is you're not getting a chance. Well, guys, I think there's only one thing left to do. Movie magic. And once again, I hope you guys have yourself a merry little whatever. Yeah, catch you guys on the next one. You all take it easy.